What's up YouTube? Welcome to another Photoshop tutorial. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to edit or how I edit dark skin portrait. I shot this picture not long ago, I think somewhere last week, and I recorded a behind the scenes video, so make sure you check that video out on how I got this amazing picture after you are done watching this tutorial. Links will be down in the description. So let's get started with the tutorial. So the first thing I always do is to zoom in a little bit and just take a look at the skin. Before you apply your frequency separation, you have to just take a little look at the skin. So as you can see, she has a very nice skin, a very subtle skin. There is not too much to do on the skin. So the first thing I would like to do is to apply my frequency separation. I'm pretty sure you know what frequency separation is if you are watching this video. Well, if you don't know what frequency separation is, it's just a method of separating the skin texture from the skin tones so that you can work on you can work on it separately. So if you want to work on the skin tones, you can work on it separate, and if you want to work on the skin texture, you can work on it separately. So I recorded my own frequency separation action here, so I'm going to use my action in order not to make this video very long. So let's play the frequency separation action. So as you can see here, the higher the blur, the radius of my blur is 5.0. So the higher the blur, the more texture you remain in the picture. So let's zoom in a little bit in my image and see if the blur has covered most of the blemishes on her skin. So I think I will go with, let's say 7. Yeah, I think 7 is okay, so let's hit okay. As I said earlier, the higher the blur, the more skin texture you retain. So let's go ahead and start with the skin retouching. So you select, as I said earlier, the high frequency layer, which I've named HFL, is the skin texture, and the low frequency blur is the skin tones, so that I can work separately. If I want to work on the skin tones, I work only on the skin tones without spoiling the skin texture or anything else. So you select the low frequency blur, and let me get my lasso tool. I don't normally use the brush tool for my frequency separation. I always use the lasso tool because it's very fast, and also I don't use a Wacom tablet, I use a mouse, so using the brush makes it a little difficult for me. So let's select here. I'm trying not to make this too long for you guys. I'm trying to make it as short as possible. So you hit filter, blur, and then Gaussian blur. So as you can see, I picked radius 7 when the action was playing, or when I was applying the action. So that's why 7 is here. So let's make it, let's say 15, and see the impact it has on the skin. I think 20 would be nice. Let's make it 20. Wow. So I think 20 will work well with this image. When you are retouching the skin, make sure you don't zoom in too much. Make sure you are always zoomed out like this, because anytime a person sees this image, the person is not going to zoom all the way in like this just to look at the image. The person is going to look at the image this way. So make sure you don't zoom all the way in, so you have a very nice idea whether you are doing too much on the picture or you are doing a little less. So I think 20 for the radius is pretty nice. So let's hit OK and move to another part of the face. So let me show you the before and after. Here is the before, here is the after. If you think it's a little too much for you, you can always select the whole frequency separation action and dial down the opacity so that it doesn't look fake or something like that. So let's speed up with the frequency separation. I'm trying not to make this video long. As I said earlier, I'm trying to make this video very short and also has all the important points and tips at the same time. So as you can see, I'm still going on with my frequency separation. This photo shoot I did for one of my clients. This is one of his models, so he linked me up on this project and I had to do it for him. He ended up being my assistant for that day because one of my friends who always used to help me out on my photo shoot sections and ended up recording the behind the scenes video. So the guy had to the guy had to be my assistant just for that day. He was the one holding my reflector for me. I used my reflector for this picture. I used the gold sided part. That's why it has a little gold in her face, as you can see. So for the hand, I think the radius 20 is too much. That's why the sides here is a little white. That's why. So I'm not going to retouch the hands right now. I'm going to reduce the radius of the blur and come back and do it. So let's see the before. Here is the before, here is the after. Let's zoom in a little bit and see. As you can see, it's very subtle. It's not too much. It's a normal looking picture, It's a very normal looking picture. So I think for the face it's okay. So let's come down here to her thighs. I'm going to remove all these little blemishes after the frequency separation, so don't worry, I know what I'm doing. So guys, make sure you subscribe to my channel if you want more content like this, and don't forget to like this video if you found it useful. So as you can see, I'm still on the frequency separation, and it's taking quite time. I'm speeding this up because it's a tutorial. That's why I'm speeding things up. If it wasn't a tutorial, I would take my time and make it very nice and very professional. But because it's a tutorial, if I take my time, the video will be too long for you guys and it wouldn't be entertaining to watch. So I'm trying to make it as short as possible. That's why I'm not taking my time with it, but I think it's nice. I think it's pretty nice. So here is the before, here is the after, before and after. So the next thing to do is to select the high frequency layer and try and remove some of the blemishes on her face, some of these pimples and things on her face with the clone stamp tool. So you sample an area, you press and hold Alt, you sample an area and then you clone, you sample and you clone. So as you can see, the spot is not there again. Let me try and remove this. I'm trying not to do too much on this picture. I'm just trying to do a little, frequency separation right here. So as you can see, it looks okay. In my opinion, it looks very nice and simple. As I said earlier, I'm trying to make it quick, not to make this video long. Sorry guys, I think I'm 10 minutes in or something. So let's skip the frequency separation aspect, and let's move on to the color grading. So let's merge the layers. So the next thing I do is to apply my melanin action. As you can see, she has a very nice skin tone. She's not fair, she's a little dark. So I think the melanin action will work pretty nice with this image. So I downloaded this melanin action also from the internet. So if you don't have this melanin action, it's fine. This tutorial is going to work fine for you, but I just feel the melanin action will make it a little more to my liking. So what I do next is to play the melanin action. As you can see, it has made the picture very cool, but I prefer this image to be warm, so I will dial down the opacity of the melanin action to, let's say, 35. So I think 35 is okay. It's not too much for this picture. It's very simple and clean. So the next thing I would like to do is select my adjustment layer and move on to selective color. So here I will play with the blues a little bit, since she's wearing a blue jeans. So I would like to play with it a little bit. As you can see, I think my cyan is okay. Let me leave my cyan at 42, and then move on to the yellows. I think it has more yellows in it, so I'll bring the cyan of my yellows down to add a little bit of red to the image, and also add blacks, a little bit of blacks, to make the skin very nice. Here is the before, here is the after. It's not too much. It's a very subtle type of adjustment. So let's play with the cyans, or let's play with the white and see. Let me zoom out a little bit. Let's see. I think I'll leave my cyans at 25. I think 25 is pretty good. So let me play with my neutrals too and see what. Oh my goodness, this thing really has an impact on the image. So I think I'll just leave my neutrals at 0, everything at 0. I don't want to play with it. So the next step is to hit my hue and saturation. Go ahead and select my hue and saturation, and this time also play with the individual colors as I did with the selective color. So let's go ahead with the blues. Let's increase the saturation a bit. Let's increase. I think 10 is fine. 10 is fine. The lightness 6 is also fine. So let's go over to the yellows and also increase the saturation. I think +5 is okay. So the next thing is to select the selective color again. But before we do that, let's put this one and this one in a group and see how far we've come. So here is the before, here is the after, here is the before and after. As you can see, it's not too much. It's very nice and simple. The skin is also simple and very subtle. It's not too much. So the next thing I would like to do is to select my selective layer again and add a little more blues to her jeans. So the science, let me put it up. I think plus 35 is okay. I think plus 35 is okay. So I think where we've gotten to, we've made a very significant change right here. As you can see, here is the before, here is the after. Here is the before, here is the after. It's very nice. It's very nice and simple. I don't like to edit my pictures so much that it turns out to even look fake or something. I think this type of color grading and editing is very nice and simple. As you can see, here is the before and here is the after. So the next thing I would like to do is also go to my color balance and try to add a little colors to the midtones, the highlights and the shadows. So let's go to the highlight first and try to play with it and see what we are going to get. So I think with the highlight, the reds will be nice in the highlight, so plus 1 will be okay. Let's say plus 2. Let's play with the magentas and the greens a little bit. Let's add a little bit of greens. Plus 1 is okay. And also let's add blue, a little bit of blue to the highlights. Let's move on to the shadows. I always do the highlights first, followed by the shadows before the midtones. That's how I do it. So it's not by force to also do it the same. You can also do it any which way you like. So let's play with the science too. I think I want more reds in my shadows and more blues. So I'll plus 4 is okay for the shadows and the blues too. Plus 5. Now let me type it right here. Plus 5 is also okay. I'm not going to play much with my magentas because it's going to make it too much. So let's go to the midtones. As I said earlier, if you think it's a little too much, you can always come to the opacity right here and bring it down to, let's say, 50% or something. That way it doesn't look too much. So let's also play with this a little bit. I think here is nice. Yeah, so here is the before and here is the after. As you can see, this has also had a very nice impact on the image. Here is the before, here is the after. It's very, very nice. So let's look at the overall before and after. Here is the before, here is the after. As you can see, it's not too much, but I think the color balance is a little too much. So let me dial down the opacity to like 60. I think 60 is fine. So the next step is to dodge and burn. I don't know, there are so many techniques to dodge and burn. I sometimes use the curves layer. Curves are just sorry guys. I sometimes use the curves adjustment layer to dodge and burn. Sometimes I create a new folder and then fill it with 50% gray and all that. So I have an action I recorded for the dodge and burn. I think I deleted it, so I think I'm going to go through the steps with you guys. So I'm going to create a new layer and go to layer, fill. Where's the fill? No, I don't think I'll come to, I think I'll come to edit, fill, and then 50% gray. Make sure you select 50% gray and make sure the opacity is at 100% and the mode is normal. So you hit OK, and then you change the blend mode from normal to soft light, and then you duplicate it so that you can use the first layer for the dodge and the second layer for the burn. So let's name this one D for the dodge, and let's name this one B for the burn. So this is a little technique that I use to know where my highlights are and also where my shadows are precisely, so that I don't end up overdoing it and changing the shape of her face or something. So let's select the dodge layer and let's create a black and white adjustment layer. So here's the black and white. You select black and white and then you bring down your reds. So as you can see, as I'm bringing down the reds, it's showing me where I should dodge and where I should burn. Now have in mind, you dodge the brighter parts, the parts that the highlights reflect, and then you dodge where the shadows are. So you bring down your reds and your yellows a little bit so that you kind of have an idea where to dodge and burn. So you select the D layer for the dodge, and then you come and select your dodge too. So let's bring down the opacity to about 10. No, I think 15 will be fine. And select a soft rounded brush and hardness to 0. So let's start dodging. No, let's start dodging. As you can see, I'm making the highlights pop a little bit. Here's the before, here's the after. I'm trying to make the highlight pop a little bit. So let's dodge right here and also right here. And I didn't retouch the hand because I think it looks fine. It doesn't look, she has no blemishes or no rashes on her hand. I think it's fine. So let's turn off our black and white layer and check out. Here's the before, and here's the after. Let's zoom out a little bit. As you can see, this is not too much because the opacity the exposure was 15%. If I had bring it up to, let's say, 20 or 50, the impact would have been high. So here's the before, here's the after. So we will do the same thing for the burn. So the burn, I'll bring my exposure down to 10 and start burning. Just start burning. Photoshop terms. So guys, that's it. As you can see, I'm not trying to do too much. That's why I've zoomed all the way out. I'm not trying to do too much with this image or this picture. So let's turn off the black and white layer and let's look at what we've done so far for the burn. So here's the before, here's the after. As you can see, I haven't done too much because the video is already getting too long. I think I've recorded like 24 minutes or so. So let's delete the black and white layer and check out the before and after once again. Here is where we started and here is where we are. Here is where we started and here is where we are. As you can see, the picture looks very nice and simple. We didn't go too much with this picture. It's very nice and settled. It's very simple. So you can apply these simple steps and color grading and retouching tips to every dark skin image you shoot, and it's going to turn out very nice. So the last step I'm trying to do with this picture is to sharpen it, but before I sharpen it, I will be posting this image on Instagram. So in order not to have quality issues, I always resize the image to 1080p so that Instagram doesn't divide or use the algorithm on the image for me. So I'm trying to how do I even say it? I'm trying to swerve a little bit of the Instagram algorithm. I'm trying to try my best. So I'll sharpen it in. This is how I sharpen my images. I always create a duplicate layer of all what I've done below by hitting Ctrl Shift Alt and E to create a layer of all what's below, and then I'll select filter and convert it for smart filters. Select filter again, select order, and then high pass. So as you can see, I think one is nice, one is simple. As you can see, it's very sharp. And then change the blend mode from normal to overlay. So here is the before and after for the sharpness. Here is the before, here is the after. So as you can see, this picture turned out really nice. I didn't do too much for the skin tones, so the skin looks very nice and settled. I think there's something here I want to take out. So the skin is very nice and simple. I didn't do too much with the skin. The reason why I always that is when you try to do too much with the skin, if you are not good enough, you end up spoiling the skin tones and a whole lot. So try not to do too much with your image. Simple but nice and clean. Try not to do too much with your image. If you do too much with your image, the picture is not even going to look real. So try not to do too much with your image. This picture is very nice in my opinion. So I don't know how you guys see this image, but I think it's pretty nice. Drop a comment down below on how you think about today's tutorial, and also don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more content like this. So that's it for today's Photoshop tutorial on how to edit dark skin portraits. I'm trying my best to put up new content and nice content each and every week, so make sure to subscribe. It's free, it's free to subscribe. Just help me out to grow my channel. Hit the subscribe button down below and like this video if you found it useful. So I'll see you guys in my next behind the scenes or tutorial video. Thanks for